Are we
there's
doing
a
that?
gland that kind of looks like cauliflower.
You're gonna have to speak up, Dr. J.
Okay. So this looks like cauliflower, right? That's the parotid salivary gland.
Parotid salivary gland. Okay.
Then right here is a salivary gland that looks kind of like a gumdrop without any sugar on it. Do you know what a gumdrop looks like?
Yeah.
Okay. So this would be the mandibular salivary gland, right here.
Where's that at on here?
Now the parotid duct is right there. You can see it, but I don't know if I can lift it up. There we go. There we go. So see, there's a duct right there.
That's the parotid duct?
That's a parotid duct. That goes over between the two molars over here and the maxillary bone. This one has its duct go at the angle of the mandible. And then right in here, so does anybody know what this is? Nobody knows?
A lymph node?
It is. How did you know that?
You gave a good hint.
Oh.
I missed it, clearly.
So these look like human beings, right? The Big Friendly Giant used to eat those.
Oh,
Did any of you ever read
Bye-bye.
The Big Friendly Giant? BFG?
yes.
Okay. I think I read that to my son when he was little. And that's probably why he hates me now.
Oh, sorry, I kicked you.
It's okay, I'm getting used to it. You've been abusing me all day.
I haven't been with you all day.
Well, not that. Never mind.
It feels like all day.
Really?
It's enlarged.
Yeah.
You may have
you're
had
sick.
something going on.
Some type of infection.
Okay, but you can keep them for party favors. They make good party favors.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Challenge someone to eat it for $5.
Wow, $5? Looks a little like edamame.
Aw.
He won't be like,
It's me, McChicken.
oh, what happened yesterday?
That
after
used to
your
get you
class?"
5 McChickens before inflation.
This is a little tricky to cut this because I don't want to cut the duck.
It won't be tagged, right?
Yeah, we basically need to know if it's gonna be tagged or not.
It could be.
So what's that?
What's that?
If the salivary glands are on the list, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you need to know.
Wait, where?
Too hard.
Okay, so this is the
Where's
this is the
salivary?
digastric muscle.
The what?
The digastric. This is the masseter muscle up here. This is the digastric. Digastric
What the fuck?
depresses the mandible, and the masseter elevates the mandible. Okay, on the deep side, we're going to find a duct and a gland. I hope.
Your paper.
Wow. Now,
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
I'll send you a copy.
You have it?
Yeah.
oh, you know what?
It's almost time for Jamie to touch all I think.
That's a.
When I get the gig.
What is it?
Okay. So this one really doesn't have much of a sublingual gland, but there's a duct coming from the mandibular gland over to under the tongue. That's a sublingual.
So if the sublingual gland is supposed to be in there,
Yeah,
otherwise? Okay.
it's not a very good one, and I can't explain that. It's normally sort of triangular shaped and small. It's a little bit smaller than teres minor. Do you remember what teres minor looks like? Oh, you didn't take me for this class. So see this right here? This is teres minor. See that little triangular muscle right there? That's about how big the sublingual gland is.
Okay.
And it would normally be right in here with a duct on its surface. And the duct is the mandibular duct. I think that's the duct right there with a vessel on it too. But the gland is not evident. Oh, maybe that's it there. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's not very good though. Yeah. So right here is the sublingual gland. It's kind of a little triangular thing right there.
Okay.
and then the duct whack goes across the surface.
That's the mandibular duct?
Mandibular duct and sublingual salivary gland, and then this is the mandibular gland, and that's parotid, and that's the parotid duct. Whack. You won't see the sublingual ducts. They have sublingual glands have, I think, about 12 ducts. Whack, 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 whack. And they all go in deep to the tongue.
How come so many? Not one with different functions.
How many what?
How come not one gland with many functions? And it has.
Because we weren't designed.
That's the person that has no answer.
So where's the
That was an answer.
sublingual gland? Where's that one?
So I just showed you. It's this little fleshy thing right there. Yeah, I'll try to see if I can get a better example on another cat. This is not a great one, but these are good.
And where was the
Parotid-
mandibular duct?
Mandibular duct is right on its surface. It's got a vessel with it
Where's the mandibular gland?
right there, and that's a parotid.
And ready. All right. Now,
Right?
wait a
Point,
minute.
point, point, point.
POC, piece of cake.
Right.
Can we think we found the bulbourethral gland, but can we just confirm with you that we're looking at the right thing?
Yeah.
We got that right. Oh, sorry. Where's my?
Oh, this one's better than the other one.
Yeah.
Is that
So
those
this
two?
is the glands, right? This is the shaft. See how it looks like a space shuttle?
Yeah.
So the wings are the crura, and these little lentils are the bulbourethral glands. This one's actually better than the other cat that we saw. Okay, so bulbourethral gland, crus, is one on each side, and then this has three erectile cylinders, corpus spongiosum, 2 corpora cavernosa, and then the glands is just corpus spongiosum. Okay?
Are we gonna need to know those things?
Maybe.
Because it's not on here.
Is that on there?
No.
Let me see. What does it
No,
say?
no, you're not writing it on there.
He doesn't have a pen.
Oh.
Crus of the penis, that's
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, but the other stuff you
The
said.
spongiosum stuff is
That
not
thing. Oh wow.
So socks are on there.
You were nice that day when you
Penis,
wrote
glands,
this.
penis. That's the glands.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
we don't need to know the
But the other stuff that
Oh,
you
the
said.
shaft?
No, I think the 3 layers that you named, I think is what they're talking about.
Oh, the 3 layers, the 3 erectile tubes? No, they're not on here. You won't have to know those. Not for the practical.
And last request, can you do the abdominal walls, the muscles?
Yeah, I hope so. I forgot it mostly.
forgot, imagine on.
47 years of teaching.
I know.
I can fit in. But I like this one.
So, what the hell happened to the wall here? Looks like it didn't get separated. Looks like it's adhering to. Oh, I see what's happened. They're all sewn in. I think. Is there a bunch of sutures over here or something?
Is this side okay?
This side
That's
will work.
the.
So,
external.
but actually, now this is dried out. So when you get done today, please squirt them with stuff so it's moistened up.
Squirt them with what?
The stuff on the bottom of the cart.
I never supported mine.
Yeah, but I want you to, because they're getting dry.
Okay, you'll have to
Okay.
show us.
It's probably in the other room. So you see how these fibers are going obliquely this way?
Yep.
This is the external abdominal oblique.
Okay.
Its aponeurosis is shaped like a bell, so it comes down and it flares out here. So this milky stuff is aponeurosis.
Would you
Deep-
tag that? Because it's
Good.
kind of hard.
No, it's not. I can tell you.
That's
I'm
the
more
one-
clever than I look.
Let them dry.
Then linea alba is what goes right up the middle.
Okay.
Then we have a bacon muscle, rectus abdominis. Right, so we have a hot dog muscle over here, rectus femoris. This is the rectus abdominis. Those are the. There, he's got it. Got 2 Oscar Mayer muscles, bacon and hot dogs. Okay. See the hot dog in a bun? Here. See the bun, hot dog? That's rectus femoris, rectus abdominis. Now, unfortunately, because of the way this one's been prepared, it's going to be hard to get into here, but I'll do it for you. I think it's easier than trying to do it on the other side. Okay, this deepest layer here, you can see the fibers are going this way again toward the tail. This is the transverse abdominis. And it has a narrow oval aponeurosis. See, it's narrow here. If you look at this aponeurosis, is really big. It's all of this, and then down here it gets really wide.
Aponeurosis.
Aponeurosis, a broad flat tendon. Okay, let's open this up.
Oh my god.
You know what? Let's see if we can swap with somebody that's not using their cat right now.
Are you
Can I borrow your cat for a second?
Is the white line the Linea alba?
Yeah.
That one right there?
Yeah, it's right in the middle.
Okay.
It's
Lena
halfway between these two things, right here.
Okay.
So that's
Lena
where the
Alba.
aponeuroses from the two sides insert in each other. This one's better, because this one's been opened up. Okay, so meta and beta. You know what I'm saying? So here's the long fibers. They're going toward the caudal end as they approach the midline. And see this milky stuff? That's the aponeurosis
Of the external oblique.
of the external abdominal oblique.
Abdominal oblique.
Okay, then if we look deep in here, this will be easier because I need to get my scalpel.
I feel like you already cut up on our original cat. You already like everything up.
I did the abdominal
We
wall.
had like number 6, I think.
Let me just, I'll do it on this one. It's just to hold this, alright, but not a lot of tension, just a little bit. Alright, so what we're gonna try to do is pull this back. This is just deep fascia that I'm tearing here,
Deep fashion.
which won't be tagged. Right here, I'm cutting an aponeurosis. See this milky stuff? That's the aponeurosis for the internal abdominal oblique. You can see that now. Okay, and then here is that's the aponeurosis right there that I'm cutting. So right here is the rectus abdominis. That's the bacon.
Okay.
The external abdominal oblique. See the fibers are going toward the caudal end.
Yeah.
All right, now, if, put your finger right there, will you? Thanks. Right there. There we go. Okay. Now, if you look here, you can see these fibers are going this way.
Yeah.
See it? So these are going toward the head, actually. And the aponeurosis for this one looks like a V, shaped like that. And then deep to that is the transverse. See the fibers are going this way? And there's its aponeurosis over here, this clear stuff. Okay? So 3 layers. External goes this way, internal goes this way, transverse goes this way. So they're like this. So what would be the advantage of having them like that?
You can force all ways. You can
That's
resist
one
force
part of
always.
it, but the more important part all the time is strength. So if you've ever seen plywood, when they make plywood, they'll have a layer of fibers going this way, and the next layer will go like that, and then the next layer goes like that, and they just sandwich them all together. Plywood is stronger than the same wood all going in the same direction. Okay, plywood's really, really strong. So this is really strong too because of these opposing positions. And the interesting thing is, I just had somebody write to me about this. He's an artist. And he was asking about these muscles. We have the same 3 muscles are in the thoracic wall. The only difference is that the ribs run through them. But the external abdominal oblique is the same as the external intercostal we use for breathing. The internal abdominal oblique is the same for the internal intercostal we also use for breathing. And then the transverse abdominis is the same as the innermost intercostal, which mostly just stabilizes the wall. We don't really use it for breathing so much. I mean, you may read that we do, but one muscle can't pull in 2 different directions. It can only pull in one direction. It doesn't really make
Muscle
sense.
is visible from the innermost, like from the deepest surface.
The deepest one is the transverse abdominis.
So like if you flip this over, which muscle is that? The transverse?
Transverse.
Okay.
See, it's going toward the caudal end. Okay? Because these fibers are like this, right? When I do that. Same thing with the external. The external is like this. When I go this way, they're like this. But the internal is like this.
Okay.
Okay? In a human, which is where the name came from, the transverse abdominis pretty much goes transversely.
Okay.
Whereas in the cat, it goes caudally. Okay? You got it.
All right.
All right.
Alright.
Can we go over bones?
I think we can.
Do we have
It's
to?
like, and
Can't start without Jamie.
the auricular surface and that what articulates with the
And so is
os
this.
coxa. Yeah, so those models are not great.
So we're not tagging those.
Yeah, probably I will, but not for the auricular surface. I may have one that's better.
You,
This
you
one's
said
not
this
great.
one, it looks like an ear.
Yeah, see the shape of the ear?
Yeah.
Right. It looks like that on a good one of these too.
Let me get you one of them.
You know, these are plastic models, and usually this company makes nice stuff, but. So what's that?
Is that the crest?
No,
Oh no, it's the
this is the crest.
Superior.
This is the crest. This is the iliac tubercle. Iliac tubercle.
So the crest is up there, and then the iliac tubercle. is
Just that,
the-
right there.
Right there. Okay.
Yeah, this is the crest.
Crest is on top. Okay.
See? So this one's a little better. There's the auricular surface. Yeah, this one's better than this one, but not a lot. Here's the auricular surface here. So that's also known as a sacroiliac articulation, because it's the sacrum and the ilium.
Now you gotta start over.
Is she back?
Yes.
Okay, so we gave all the answers for the exam. Those
Now
who
I know
were
you're
missing.
lying. You say that every time somebody comes late.
But actually, this time we didn't.
Okay,
All right, we starting? Wait. What are we starting with? The coccyx? What's the coccyx?
so if you look right here, see how this looks like an ear?
Mm-hmm.
That's the auricular surface, or sacroiliac articulation. So that's what articulates with the sacrum and the ilium, right? Then the only tricky things here, I think, are the tubercle is kind of tricky. This is the iliac tubercle right here, this bump. And this is the crest going from here to there. So the tubercle is lateral and inferior to the crest a little bit, right? And then what's this?
Acetabulum.
Acetabulum, which means little vinegar cup. Really?
Why?
Well, acetabulum, the acid is from acetic acid, it's for a vinegar, and it kind of looks like a cup. I don't know. Some anatomists thought it looked like a vinegar cup. Maybe it does. So this right here is this is a little tricky too. This is the pubic crest right here, and this is the pubic tubercle right here. So remember I was talking about the inguinal ligament? The inguinal ligament goes from that tubercle to the ASIS, like that. It's and that's made from the abdominal wall aponeuroses. It's really tough, and it has a canal going through it called the inguinal canal, and that's where that vas deferens and the internal spermatic artery pass through. It's pretty tough, but you can rip it. People get inguinal hernias, and so who would be at more risk, males or females, for inguinal hernias?
Females. Yeah.
Males.
Because there's a hole in it.
Well, so females have a canal, and the stuff that goes through with females would be some blood vessels and some nerves. But in the male, the testicle went through there. So that stretches stuff to begin with. And then it still has the arteries and veins and nerves that females have, plus the vas deferens. Plus that moves a little bit. So a male's inguinal canal is a little bit more prone to being having a hernia pass through there. And basically what happens, you have a hole on the inside, and if something's laying over that hole and you get enough abdominal pressure, it pushes it down through the hole. So you can actually have, when that happens, that whatever comes through can go all the way down to the scrotum. Usually it's something of not huge size, but it's possible even to get parts of the intestine there. More likely to get a vessel or something like that. Okay, so we have a sacral canal. You can see that here. So the sacral canal is right there. I can't make it go all the way, almost. If I had a wooden applicator stick, is there one over there? You see it?
The what?
No. Wooden applicator stick? I'll get one from you. Hang on, I'll get one. See how that's a passage under there. So the sacrum's kind of interesting because it's made up of 5 fused sacral vertebrae plus rib elements. So this is, usually we think of the only place with ribs is the thoracic cavity. But in fact, the lumbar region had ribs, cervical region had ribs, and then the sacral region has ribs, and they become part of this whole mass. And then the bodies fuse together. And then instead of having openings between the vertebrae where the nerves come out, we have these posterior sacral foramina and anterior sacral foramina. You can see the bodies here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the coccyx is inferior to that. The reason you have these anterior and posterior instead of lateral is because if the nerves tried to come out laterally, they'd run into all this stuff. There's no place for them to go. So they split inside. You have an anterior ramus and a posterior ramus. Okay, that's kind of neat.
Where's the sacral promontory?
Promontory?
Yeah.
Right here. So if we look at that pelvis, can you grab that pelvis? Okay. So this is a male or a female?
That's a female.
Female. This is a sacral promontory right here. So in a male, that projects anteriorly more than it does in a female, mature female. A prepubescent female looks just like a male. You can't tell the difference. But in the postpubescent female, this moves posteriorly, which again opens up this for easier passage of the baby so they can fly out. And you can see the anterior sacral foramina and posterior sacral foramina here. And then the coccyx usually has 3 to 5 bones, and sometimes they fuse and sometimes they don't. But you can break that. If it gets all fused and you fall down backwards and land on that, you can break it. And
Is that what people call their tailbone?
yeah, we used to have a whole lot of bones there, but most of them get reabsorbed. But the problem with breaking your coccyx is you can't put your butt in a sling, right? Although it looks like Trump may have his in a sling. But so what they have to do then is sit on a cushion that puts pressure every place but there, because otherwise it won't heal if you keep pushing on it, right? But I get it's really painful and takes a while. And we had a real one at the other campus that comes down and it takes a right angle. The coccyx goes off like that. That person was probably a certain amount of discomfort all the time because that muscle that was going right onto the muscles in that
Is
area.
that sclerosis?
Yeah. So instead of going where it should have, it birth defect. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
This is the ischial tuberosity. That's what you sit on.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else, Jane?
What's that?
Well, I missed part, right?
No.
Yeah, no, I gave all the
They
answers.
repeated.
I gave all the answers.
Oh, okay. The interior,
Oh, we gave
inferior
that one. I'm
iliac
not doing
spine.
that again.
What?
No, it's too.
So, you can tell this is a female.
Yes.
You can't tell if this is a male or female.
No.
Because you have to have the two put together. Okay. So anterior superior iliac spine is here, and anterior inferior iliac spine is here. And then that's
On the same side?
Yeah, anterior side. This would be like this in me. Right, so anterior superior, anterior inferior. Then you have posterior superior, posterior inferior. And then you have the greater sciatic notch, ischial spine, lesser sciatic notch. We did the acetabulum. Oh, I didn't show you where the bones join. So you see right here where it gets rough? That's Pansy's, Lily's favorite word. That's where the ilium and ischium meet, right there. And then see where this gets rough? This is where the ischium and the pubis meet. And then see where this gets rough right here? That's where the pubis and the ilium meet. And all three bones form the acetabulum. You can see, this isn't a real one, but if you saw a real one, you could actually see the scars where they join. There's kind of a scar here, and a scar here, and a scar over here. So we have ischium, pubis, ilium.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that?
Iliopectineal line. Okay, so the iliopectineal line is this whole thing here. Sometimes it's called a pelvic brim. Or the pelvic inlet. So public inlet includes so this is like almost a flat surface. If you put a piece of cardboard here, it'll go straight across and touch everywhere here, back to here. But then when it gets to the sacrum, it goes superiorly and then back. Okay, and that's the sacral promontory there.
It's the what?
Sacral promontory. I showed you that already.
Oh, yes, you did, sir. Sorry. It's down there.
Short-term
All right,
memory lapse.
obturator. No, well, there's a lot of stuff going there. Obturator foramen.
Making your
And I
hair
have a
curly.
bun, yeah, I know.
Oh my god. Yeah, the obturator foramen is this.
Okay.
And actually, the ilium isn't touching this. So technically, the only two bones make this up are the pubis and the ischium. But on an exam, if I tag this, then I would put obturator foramen of the os coxa. Okay. The os coxa should be the
Long
heading.
name.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what is this?
Sacroiliac articulation. So we talked about that. That's the same thing as the auricular surface. So it's here. And sacroiliac means it's between the sacrum and the ilium. So it doesn't touch the other the other two bones. Doesn't touch the pubis.
So it would be this part here?
Just right here.
Just that side, not this?
Yeah, it looks like an ear. This doesn't fuse, which is important. Neither does this fuse, right? And so
So it can move.
yeah, it's
Pubic
important for
symphysis.
2 reasons. So one reason would be
Childbirth.
childbirth. So didn't we talk about this? And during childbirth, hormonal levels change, and just before the baby's born, the hormones that go up in concentration destabilize this. So that makes it more flexible. So that it just flies open, a baby flies out, and then it kind of slams shut.
It flies out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if that were the only advantage to this, then men wouldn't have them, and men do have them, right? Men don't fuse here. So the other advantage is during walking. So when you walk, there's a lot of torsion, and this rocks back and forth. And if it didn't, eventually it would break, and then you'd be in a whole lot of pain. Yeah. People occasionally do split this. And usually it's an accident where you have a lot of trauma with like a car accident and the person gets slammed around. This can actually break.
Powerlifting.
I can't imagine that. That would have to be. That would be pretty
Where's
rough.
the pubic crest, right?
In
Yeah,
scissors.
pubic
This is
crest
the
is,
pubic
so if you see,
tubercle?
yeah, see that there's kind of a ridge there, and there's kind of a ridge there? That's a pubic crest. And then the tubercle is the bump out lateral and inferior to the crest. There are some of these that are really pronounced on the tubercle. And then as I showed you earlier, the inguinal ligament goes from there to there. And you can see that on a naked person. Have any of you ever seen a naked person? No. So next time you see one, look at them from the front, and you'll see that there's kind of a V where the thigh hits their body. That's right at that inguinal ligament.
Noted.
Just keep it.
Nice
just keep-
comparison.
yeah.
Noted.
Now, where's the incisor teeth, canine teeth, premolar teeth?
Not here.
Not in this, well, during birth maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what do you want?
Incisor
Ready for
teeth?
you.
Incisors are the anterior ones.
Anterior.
Okay, and the canine, those are the ones, smile. Ooh, jeez.
Oh.
Okay, so those are the ones that the vampires have, really big ones, right? Kind
Oh,
of
I
pointy,
have-
you know what I'm
okay.
saying?
Oh, I see.
All right. And then premolar?
Premolar are gonna be these here, and then the molars, right? So these-
Morals in the
All my
back.
molars out.
You got them all out?
The same day.
What was going on?
They took them out the
Why?
same day.
Were they infected?
No, it was just hurting a lot, and I was like, he was like, you want them all out? I was like, yep, and I took them all out.
What else do we need?
Was there anything that he didn't mention?
Huh?
How do you chew your food?
Not those. I mean the.
Oh, the
You
wisdom
kind of
teeth?
mentioned this was what we started with, right?
Yeah, quack.
All right, you didn't
He
take.
has none.
No, the wisdom teeth aren't in on this one.
Yeah, they're
But there is one,
Did you want
actually,
him
the
to
colored skull,
look
I
at the
think
burrito?
has.
Then how do you do?
We already saw that in the pictures.